right, so we're gonna go jump in my car now. If you know, I guess we're doing this, I don't know how I'll edit this, but I'm doing this chronologically, where I first did the GT4. I just drove a turbo, so I'm interested to see the difference in steering and suspension, just to feel the difference between the two, and then hopefully I'll convince somebody to let me get in their RS here in a minute. But let's jump in my car and see if we can notice a significant difference. All right, I didn't want to do this and run on a daylight, but I really want to do a quick back-to-back drive of GT3 versus GT3 RS. So I'm gonna suck it up. I'm driving for like 6 hours today. Suck it up and do it. This is my GT3. Of course, I've done in race headers. I have, this is a 2014 versus, again, we just drove a 2016 RS. And the main differences are the aero. The aero, the 4-liter. I don't have sport buckets. They weren't available in 2014 when I got my car, and so I didn't realize that John has the car graphics setup, which is really nice. I really like that. It's tamer than this version, and so we're gonna go out, and I'm gonna do a short run in this car, and then just come back in and give you sort of the assessment of the four cars versus each other. It's such a neat experience to go through this process of testing these awesome cars. Not too many people get to do this back to back to back. I've thought about doing this for a while, and in general I make videos that I think might be interesting, and so that's generally what I'm going to stick to that formula. Yeah, I already can notice, just driving down the hill here, notice the difference in track. That car just feels like there's more meat on the bones, if that makes sense. I'm running out of daylight. All right, so there's some goofs going that way, so let's go this way. See, I feel like again, the front end on this car doesn't feel like, I feel like it feels a little smaller, less substantial. That wider track of the slightly wider front tires and wheels. Like, I feel like there's more weight out on the left. And I don't want to pretend like I'm an expert about turn-in, but I feel like there's more understeer, more weight transferring. Again, I don't want to call it understeer, but it feels like that I have more weight transfer, or more effort is being put into, whatever that outside front wheel is. I don't feel as much of a difference in the rear end as I do the front end. I do like my the paddles on the GT3 are longer, at least on the 2014. I think the 15s and 16s are the same. But I mean, these 4-way sport regular seats, certainly not bad, and more comfortable for me, but they don't have cool carbon fiber behind them. And I think that's the biggest difference between the two cars. Deeper sound and more front end grip. Now, if we were to compare it to the GT4, I feel like these cars have more grip, but the GT4 feels like a scalpel. So when I come into turns like this, I feel like the GT4 you know, I feel like the steering's better. Obviously, how it rotates around center is different because of the, you know, where the rear engine is, or where the engine's mounted, I should say, in rear engine versus mid-engine. And of course, we have the, you know, the turbo. The turbo is great, but it just doesn't have the emotion that these have. But again, surprisingly, the turbo holds its own with a GT3 even out here. I mean, they're you know, they're all very Porsche, so I'm finding it a lot harder to compare and contrast and really develop my opinion, because I love all of them. Obviously, you know, I like the turbo the least. GT4, GT3, I would probably be put equal, and then the RS would be my favorite. But you know, they talk a lot about GT3 versus the RS, and the GT3 is a better all-around, you know, all drive around town car. I don't get that sense at all. I mean, the RS is wider, but it's still a car. I mean, if you're used to driving a pickup truck, the car still feels small. I mean, yeah, it's super wide, but you know, I'd pick the RS 100 out of 100 times, no matter what I'm doing. So, you know, it occurs to me that having a RS and GT4 would be an awesome combo. You have your little nimble manual scalpel, and then you have your hammer and the RS. Turn in of the GT4 is my favorite of the cars. Sheer grip and just bulk and just awesomeness. RS. So in other words, my car doesn't win anything. But they're all so similar that, I mean, doesn't make me want to ditch my car. But again, I don't think this car does anything the best. And then again, you know, the turbo is my least favorite. But again, I was pleasantly surprised how much I like that car. Tell me this isn't awesome. Now remember, I've been at this driving thing today for like 5 hours. No, longer than that. 6 or 7 hours today. I just got back to the hotel and wanted to catch these videos before the daylight was up. Man, this car's so good. I'd be perfectly happy with this for the rest of my life. But if I can, I will. And I just think I'd rather have, for, you know, RS for 190 grand, I'm in. RS for 230 grand, I'm out. Especially since most people spec them differently than I would. So, you know, my GT3 991.2, my spec is 170 grand. This section's so cool. second gear. Make sure we're plugged in. Minivan. So fast. These cars are incredibly fast for, you know, for what they are. It's awesome. Last couple of turns, and the Fall Smokies 2017 is up. I'll head out of here in the morning, back to Atlanta, head home. Get the truck and trailer and then head home. Dang it, I love this car. RS, GT4, GT3, it doesn't matter. Love them all. It's so awesome. Oh, shit. So, anyway, you've heard my thoughts on these cars. I hope this was somewhat different than some of the other reviews or other driving experiences of these cars. You know, I have quite a bit of seat time in them. I know I didn't talk about the track, but the track's not really my thing. So why would I talk about it if I don't know anything about it? You know, I've been on the track many times, but it's just not my bag. So anyway, thanks for watching this, and hopefully, worst case scenario, you are able to drown me out and listen to these cars because they sound freaking awesome. All of them did. The turbo in its own way still sounds good. Anyway, thanks for watching, and as always, stay tuned for more crazy. Because what happens when the force pulls you back, your foot naturally comes off the gas. You have to keep your foot to the floor, to the floor.